Hi everyone, and warm welcome back to the channel. We are back on the Cavalier today. Now you are talking to present day me, if you like. All the work on the Cavalier has been done over the last probably 2-3 weeks to get it back on the road, up to scratch and safe and protected from rust. So you'll be watching past me for a little while, doing all the jobs on it, and then we are going to come back to today and we're going to sort out the exhaust, because as you will see in one of the clips, the rear box on the exhaust has decided to, well, disintegrate wouldn't be a good word I suppose, because obviously where it's been sitting for a long while and then used, it blew a load of holes in it, and it sounds like, well, it sounds like a cherry bomb on the back of it now. So I'll let you watch what's been going on with the Cavalier. I've been using it for the past few weeks. You will have seen in the DeLorean video that it got me to Norfolk and back no problem, so that was good. I have had a breakdown in it as well in the meantime, luckily only local down here, due to a randomly exploding rotor arm, but obviously I'll show that in the video. So I'll roll the past me, and then we'll come back to today and we're going to sort this exhaust out. We've got some mail. Look at that, and you can tell by the box what that is. This is the new starter motor for the Cavalier. Look at that. Now funny, they must have made a batch of these all in 2008, because this one is brand new and it says on it remanufactured 2008. So I don't know what that's all about, but there we go. Anyway, it's brand new. You can see it's brand new, or remanufactured, whatever. So let's go out there and get this fitted in between coats of paint on the Puma. As you can see, you'll see another video on that. I'm doing that and I'm doing this at the same time. So we'll get this put on, and then we can sort that front bumper out. It's stopped raining for a little while, so that should be good. Top banana. Right, start motor's back on. Let's see if it starts. There we go, choke's pushed in now, ticking over nicely. All the engine bay wants now is a damn good clean, as you can see. So next job I think is going to be that front bumper spoiler. We'll get that fixed on properly. Right, we have got a bit of a casualty on this front bumper spoiler, as you can see there. That is the corner tab, which goes under here, just where that hole is there, you can see. So we need to get that back in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to 2-part epoxy glue it with some of this stuff, and then we're going to use a soldering iron to go around it to melt it into place to hold it in the right position there, and then we'll go over it with some more epoxy glue again to reinforce it. That's the plan. So we've got this with the glue on the back, and we're going to, it does actually hold in this hole because it's quite a tight fit, like that. And then what I intend to do now that is in there is melt round it with a soldering iron, and that should hopefully hold it in place, and then we can get some more glue over the top of it just to reinforce it further. So this will hold it in place, and then we can further reinforce it with some more epoxy over the top after. Probably the heat from this soldering iron will make the epoxy I've put on there already go off as well, which will help obviously hold it as well. And it's not going to be particularly pretty, I know, but as it's under the car and you're not going to see it, not too fast. That's now held on there, you see? So you just carry on all the way around, pushing the soldering iron in, making little divots in it, and it melts the plastic together, and then you push it back over again afterwards like that and melt it all so that it all fuses into one then. There we go. You can see now that is on there pretty well. So we'll go over that with some more epoxy just to give it a bit of extra strength, and that should be good to go. Lovely jubbly. Okay, you can see the corner cross brace there going across from the wing to the front panel, and then we've got the fixings along the front, one there. You can see two there, 3 and 4 is up there, and then this side is the side we've just glued, and that's now all lovely and strong. That corner piece is on there too. So now we can crack on and get the front arch liners in. Okay, arch liner's now in. Got one clip over here, one up here, one up there, and on this one I've actually put a slider clip in behind it and a bolt, a self-tapping bolt, because that hole was elongated and it wouldn't accept a clip and wouldn't hold it tight. So that's fine, that's all solid. Next thing we've got to do while we're here is, as you can see from this wing needs to be sitting in a little bit like that, and that is because when we put the wings on we didn't put the bottom bolt back in, because the new seal needs a hole drilling in it to go into the original hole behind, which is where the wing bolts through to. So there's a hole in the inner seal which is obviously there from new, so I need to go in from that hole and drill a hole through the new panel that we've put on, so I can then bolt this in to the right place, and then that will hold the wing in nice and tight. So let's do that. There we go, that's all bolted on there right now. I've painted the head of the bolt before I put it on and lacquered it so that it matches, and that all fits in there nice now. So we've got to repeat all that on the other side, and then we can get onto the back arches. Lovely jubbly. Whilst I was here, I thought I'd best have a look at the brake pads to see what stage we're at, if we need any brakes. Good job I checked. I think those pads are on the limit, and the discs are a little bit, tiny bit lipped as well, so I may have to put a set of discs and pads on this before long. Definitely pads, but probably discs too. Probably got a couple of thousand miles left in them, but always worth checking when you've got the wheels off, eh? Okay, as you would have seen from that bit of time lapse there, I did start on the other side and then it absolutely hammered down with rain. So I've now moved the Cavalier into the garage because we've got a working starter motor now, and I finished off that front arch, so it was basically the same as the other side. You don't need to see that again because that's boring. And we've got it jacked up and we are going to do the rear arches. So I've got a light under here to show you. It has a few repairs, as you can see. There's a couple of little plates in there and a couple of plates in there, and as I say, these inner arches were made out of, they were a BMW E30 arch we had to cut and then obviously weld back together in the correct shape so that we could make the inner arch. So basically we've got to get all this cleaned up under here. There's a lot of overspray which we need to clean off, and all that dirt around the top of the shock, and then we can give it a nice coat of stone chip to protect it all. So let's crack on. Okay, having had a good look around it, and obviously a good clean as well, there are a few little bits of, just tiny bits of surface rust just starting. Obviously where it's been sitting, it's only had a bit of extra primer and a light dust coat of paint over it. So what I've done is I've gone over the whole thing just to make double sure with the old Nutri-Rust. This stuff, this says it's approved by NATO and the Ministry of Defence, so it's got to be good, isn't it? And I've also done a bit under there as well, which is where we put a new panel in as well. I've done all that with the Nutri-Rust, and what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to seam seal all the joins just to be on the double safe side that it doesn't let any moisture in, and try and keep the rot at bay. So rather than just bang on some stone chip and sort of go over the top of it, I'm trying to do it as best I can. I know this car is never going to be perfect. It has done a lot of miles. It's suffered much in its lifetime. It's done probably about 20 odd trips, I reckon, to Ireland and back over the years, with me in the back of it, quite a few of them, and it has been very well used. So it's never going to be concourse. We just want to keep it solid and keep it on the road. So yeah, that's the plan. So next job after this Nutri-Rust goes off is to get some seam seal on all these joins, just to make sure that no moisture can get into any of those welds. And also I'd like to do up here on this join, you can see there's a few gaps obviously where the spot welds aren't. Now there's wax all inside there, but I'm going to re-seal inside there as well, just wipe some sealer in to the gap in between so that it covers it, and it doesn't let any moisture inside, so stop the arch rusting out prematurely. So yeah, we'll crack on with that. Okay, as you can see there, it seems to right way over, and the same the other side. I'm sorry about the light, but it is actually dark out now. That's how long I've been faffing around doing this for. It goes right over. Now I know what you're thinking, it doesn't look very neat. However, if you compare it to the sealer that's up there, which is all the original stuff, it don't look any worse than any of that. So although it's not the best looking in the world, it will protect it, and once I've stone chipped it, I guarantee you that will look a hell of a lot better. It will look really neat. So again, I know it's not factory, and some of you might be saying, oh, he's proper larrick that on there, it looks really naff. Yep, I agree with you, it does. But once that's gone off and you get the stone chip on, I'm hoping, I know it will, that will look just fine. And I'd rather it have the sealer on there and the stone chip for extra protection rather than not, because, well, it's going to be used at the end of the day, so I don't want it falling apart on me. So yeah, right, so I'm going to crack on with the other side, do exactly the same again, and then we can start stone chipping. That will probably be tomorrow now though, because it is, as I say, getting dark. Okay, it's the next day, we're back on the Cavalier. As you can see, I've got all the suspension masked up and the arch all masked up so that we don't get spray everywhere. This is the stuff I'm going to be using, which is Gravitex Plus, made by Vauxhall, and I'm going to be using it with their Raptor spray gun, which I've had for quite a while, and it does a good job. It's made by Vauxhall as well. So it fits, literally fits straight on the bottle. You've got that big stem which goes obviously straight into the bottom of the bottle, picks it up and sprays it out. It uses an air compressor to use it. You can get it in cans as well, but this stuff's a little bit thicker when it comes out of this bottle with the air compressor, so it does a nicer job. So hopefully that will transform our wheel arch into making it look pretty tidy. Let's see how we get on. Okay, that's both arches stone chipped. I may do another coat, but as you can see under there now, if you can see, that looks nice in uniform colour, and all that sealer just disappears, which is good. That's what I wanted. Now some of you might think, oh, he's just lobbing it up with a load of stuff, but remember, it's all solid underneath, and all I'm doing is protecting all the work that we've done. So I'm not covering anything up as such. Well, I'm covering it up, but I'm covering it up to protect what we've done as far as new panel work, rather than covering up any grot. Hopefully there won't be any more grot there because I've done all this. So there we go. I'm pretty pleased with that. It looks pretty nice, considering how much welding it's had on there. That looks pretty tidy. I've done the same the other side as well. They're still drying at the moment, so once that side's dry, I'll show you. Okay, this is the driver's side rear arch. As you can see, there's a bit more masking up to do on this side because of the fuel neck that's in there. You can't see it all that well. I'm having trouble with my LED light working, not making bars on the screen. There we go, you can see it now. You can see that's come up pretty nice as well. And you can see up there or not, probably not. It's a bit dark up there, but you can see it's all uniform colour now. It's all protected nicely. He says crinkling all the masking paper that's in there. You can see that bit there a bit better. It all looks like that. So yeah, should be good, I reckon. Lovely jubbly. Okay, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I need to sort these brakes out. I actually took this out for a drive today, and this side in particular started binding really badly, and smoke bellowed out the wheel and all sorts. So I hose it all down, cool it all down again. So there's definitely an issue with this side, especially. Not only are the pads virtually down to nothing, but obviously the piston seems to be sticking. So I'm only assuming that because it's been sitting for quite a long while with the piston exposed, because there's not a lot of pads left, it is therefore gone a bit rusty or got a bit corroded or whatever, got a bit of grit around it, or it needs cleaning, whatever. So we're going to get the caliper off, which is two Allen key headed bolts on the back there, and then we'll have a good old look. We've got new discs and pads to go on as well, so at least I know they'll all be alright. So let's crack on. Okay, with the caliper unbolted, you can see obviously the pads are virtually down to nothing, and it all looks very corroded. You've got sliders which are in there. That boot's a bit damaged, and obviously it's on these pins as well here. So it only takes a little bit of corrosion. What it looks like on those pins there, and the pads will obviously get stuck because they go through the middle of those pads. So we need to get these out, get the pins out, get the pads out, make sure the piston's not too corroded, and then we need to get all this cleaned up nice and clean with a wire wheel or grinder or whatever. Same with where the pad's sitting inside here, and you can see it on there. See sort of where they slide inside there, the mating surface. We need to get all that cleaned up as well to make sure that that's all nice and clean and easy moving. So let's crack on with that. To show you on this side of the piston, sorry, this side of the caliper, you can see the two holes here, one there, one over here. They are smaller than the holes on this side, so those pins have to be knocked through from the smaller side, obviously, to allow them to come out, and then that will release the pads, because as I say, they go through the middle of them. So that will be the first step. Then we can obviously clean it all up. Okay, there are the two pins. That's the spring for that pad. As you can see, I've definitely had a money's worth out of those pads. They're virtually non-existent. I suspect these is what's causing the problem, because they're pretty grotty and rusty, so they'll need a damn good clean up. I've just pulled back the dust seal on this piston just to see what sort of condition this is in, and actually it's fine under there. As you can see there, it needs a bit of a clean, but its camera won't focus. And there's a plane going over as well, so sorry if you can't hear me. Yeah, it looks in good condition, so I just want a good clean up in there. We'll push that back in, that should be fine. I'll pump it in and out a couple of times to make sure it's all free. So we'll squeeze it back in, then use the pedal to pump it back out, squeeze it in, pump it out, and so on. And then that'll obviously free that up. Then we just need to clean up those rods and the rest of the caliper just so everything moves freely. Put copper grease in the places it needs to be in. You can see these sliders on the side here, which is where the carrier sits in. They're all rusty on both sides of there, so they'll need a damn good clean as well, so they slide nice and easy as well. So yeah, let's crack on. Just slid that carrier off. You can see the pins there are really grotty and not very nice, and the bits on the side there where it slides onto are also grotty and not very nice, so that definitely needs sorting out. I think that could probably be the issue as well, because if that's not sliding, it won't allow the pads to retract when you take your foot off the brake. So yeah, I think it's a combination of things on this one, but we'll have it all sorted in a minute. Okay, you can see I've got the caliper all cleaned up now. It's looking a lot better. Not exactly shiny, but it's a lot better. And underneath here on the dust boot, you can see now I've cleaned that piston up and it is lovely under there now, so it's lovely and smooth. Use a little bit of WD-40 and a toothbrush so that nothing scratched the surface, because obviously that's like a chrome surface on that, so you never want to use anything too abrasive on it. As you can see as well, I've got the disc off, which is over here, which is pretty knackered, and that's just held on with one screw, which is that little screw there, goes through that hole there. And I've cleaned up the hub, obviously, so that's nice and smooth to accept the new disc. I will put a little tiny smear of copper grease around there just to stop anything corroding or rusting to it. In fact, that came off really easy before, so it must have had that done before. We'll get the new disc on, push the piston back in on the caliper, pump it in and out a few times, and then we'll start reassembling. Let's carry on. Okay, as you can see, the new disc is now on, so that from that time lapse there, and I've got the carrier back on the caliper, and that's now sliding nice and easy in and out. put some copper grease on the sliders inside there to keep that all lubricated. So now we can get the new pads in. I've also pumped the piston in and out a few times. That's nice and free now too. Let's carry on. Just a little slight difference in height on pads. What do you reckon? Dear, I admit to you, one of the brakes even worked. And there we have it, one side disc, pads and caliper all freed up. New pads, new discs, they're all Brembo stuff. Also, just a little note there, if you want to know the minimum thickness that your discs should be, it usually tells you on the edge. See, minimum thickness 9.7 millimeters. It just says Brembo there. So just so you ever, in case you ever wonder, I haven't measured the old ones to see what they are, but so now I've got to do it all again on the other side. Remember, when you do brakes, you probably already know this, always change them in pairs, never just do one side, otherwise you'll end up veering off the road into a hedge, which no one wants to see, do they? Let's crack on. Okay, it's now dark. It is, I don't know what time, probably about 9 o'clock, but it's done. Pads and discs, both sides. Pump the pedal up, they're free both sides, they're not binding. So now is the time for a little test drive around the block, I think. Top banana. Okay, I've been using the Cavalier for a little while now. Unfortunately, the other night it broke down on me. I went through the normal checks that you do, has it got fuel, has it got spark, all this, that and the other, which it did. Well, it didn't have spark, that was the problem. And I took the distributor cap off, as you can see there, and that's what I found inside the cap. The rotor arm had completely disintegrated, completely snapped off. Obviously that's the metal peg and everything that should be in the centre there. Now I've just got a new rotor arm, but unfortunately I've just noticed that the centre of the distributor cap is also at it, so I'm going to have to get a new cap as well. So I'm going to fit the rotor arm on for now, so at least that bit's on, and then I'll get a new cap and we'll fit that too. Don't know why it's failed. It's not that old, that rotor arm, probably about 2 or 3 years old, so God knows what's happened to that, but there we go. Never mind, let's carry on. Rightio, we have had a delivery from the postman, yay! New distributor cap. As you can see, this is a Lucas matching one to the rotor arm that I've put on. You can see in the middle there, it's got that little pin in the middle, which has actually fallen out of the old one due to that rotor arm disintegrating. So that's why we needed to change it, because it wouldn't have had anything for the pin in the middle of the rotor arm to ride on. So it shouldn't take too much to get this swapped over. It's literally just 2 screws and swap the leads over, and we should be good to go. Let's crack on. Rightio, let's see if it fires up now with the new cap and rotor arm. It should start a bit easier now, so fingers crossed. I was having a little bit of trouble starting at one point. It was sort of missing quite a lot, and then it'd sort of warm up and it'd be alright. So let's see what it does this time. But I think we cracked it. Well, since I've been using it, looks like something's taken its toll, and now we've got another job. Rear silencer is full of holes. Oh great, another job. Okay, as you would have seen from that clip, the exhaust back box was blowing quite badly. It's got considerably worse since I've been using it. There you go, that's a nice big hole there for you. It's basically absolutely annihilated. So I did have a little bit of trouble actually getting a back box for this, because it's what it is and it's only a 1300. I had to order one online, which we've got here in the box, in the bag rather. So we'll get that unpacked, and then we'll start getting the old one off, see if we can get this one on. Let's crack on. Okay, on closer inspection, this back box is completely wrong. Whatever they've sent me, it said it was for a petrol 1.3, but you can see it's not. It's not only the tailpipe that's wrong, it's also the pipe where it comes out and joins onto the centre section. You can see the new one is longer, and it's also a completely different angle, which shoots the exhaust off completely in the wrong place on this car. So I think at the moment we are gonna have to send that one back and try and get another one. That'll be the third one, because the first one I actually ordered they came back to me about a week later and said they couldn't get it anymore, and they refunded me the money. So this was the second alternative, which I've now emailed them to ask them whether it is supposedly the correct one for it or not, that they list with the registration number. We'll have to see what they say, but I think we're banging our head against a brick wall with this one. I could try and modify it, but there's too many things to modify on it to faff about with. I'd rather just get the right one. So yeah, that's where we're at on that. Right, I don't like being beaten, as you probably may have gathered from the Fiesta video when I was up till 2:15 in the morning. I've made up these two very, very rough plates, and I'm going to attempt to try and weld this up as a temporary repair for now. I don't know if it's going to work because the metal is so thin on it, but we'll give it a whirl, see what we get. Okay, as you would have seen from that bit of time lapse there, I have actually managed to get a plate on there, and the weld is fairly good all the way around. The metal is very thin. I blew a hole here and I blew a hole here, but I've managed to get over those. This bit here, I'm gonna have to make another small square up for, because that is really thin and I can't weld it. It just keeps blowing holes. So the next thing after that is to make up that little square plate, as I say, and also to get this piece put on over there as a bandage and try and get some good metal around this bit, because that's pretty thin all the way through there. You can see that's cracking right through. So I know this is a total sort of yeehaw fix, but for now, just to keep it on the road until I can sort out the correct back box, it's going to be third time lucky, as I say. It should keep it going hopefully for a bit and stop my eardrums from getting pierced by the noise that it was making, because it was absolutely horrendous, the amount of racket it was making. You could hear me streets away before I even got there. So let's crack on with this other plate and see what it sounds like once I've got it all welded up. See you in a minute. Right, this is what I've ended up with. It's an absolute abomination patchwork quilt of metal and weld, but for now at least it will keep it on the road. There's one that side as well that I found when I turned it over, and wire brushed it, I had another massive patch of holes come up underneath there. So that's now it has still got some pinholes in it, but I ain't going to go any further because otherwise I'm going to be welding all day and there's no point, because as I say, it's going to be replaced. But just for now, as purely as a temporary, so don't ever go at me, this is only temporary. It should hopefully save my eardrums. So let's get it put back on and see what it sounds like. Okay, it's all fitted back on, as you can see. I've given it a quick coat of the old VHT silver, very high temperature silver, just to give it a bit of protection. I know it's not going to last, but it should last me a little while until at least I can find a new exhaust. I've just had an email back from the company I bought the exhaust from, and they said no, it's the wrong one and we haven't got the right one. So it's the second company now that I've had that have not been able to get me a back box for this car. So let's start it up and see what it sounds like. Damn sight better than what it did before. It sounded absolutely horrendous before. Could actually feel a very slight leak out of that seam there on the original exhaust where they've actually clamped it together, but not out of any of my welds, which is quite amazing. There's a little pinhole there which I didn't get, which I'm not going to worry about. Oh, I'm well chuffed with that, considering that was a total sort of bush tucker fix, if you like. That's pretty good. It sounds alright. Well chuffed with that. As a temporary fix, that's alright. Well, that didn't go as planned, did it? Look at me. I'm an absolute mess, covered in black. Don't worry about it. We got the job done. It wasn't exactly as I planned. Obviously I had a new silencer to go on. It was going to be a straightforward, easy job, no problem. Ended up spending hours welding it up. And I know it's a complete yeehaw lash up, but for now it's kept it quiet and kept it on the road and stopped my eardrums from being perforated, so that's good as far as I'm concerned. Thank you everyone for watching. I do really appreciate it. And also thanks for liking and commenting on Facebook. If you haven't already seen it on Facebook, I have got a specific page for the MEC-TEC channel now, MEC-TEC on Facebook, and I have got Instagram now as well, which is MEC_TEC1985. So if you want to have a look on there for little sneaky fit photos here and there of things that are going on and progress that's happening, you're more than welcome to obviously follow me on there too. There will be some more upcoming videos soon. I have got another car which will be coming onto the channel, not what you'd expect at all, but that will be another bit of content for you. There will probably be more content on the Cavalier. We've still got other jobs to do on it to make it look nice. We've only done the basics at the moment to get it roadworthy and safe, so you know, Puma will be upcoming as well, and hopefully we'll get that finished too. If you want to join me soon for more automotive adventures, give us a like and a thumbs up and hit that notification bell and you'll know whenever I've uploaded a new video. I'll see you all soon guys. Cheers.